What I see is a huge disconnect. I see the ways that people sell are like this, the ways people buy are like this, and there's an incredible disconnect. And I'm struggling, why is there such a disconnect? I think the biggest barrier is fear. It's fear of doing something different. It's fear of doing something that is different than what you've done in the past. It's fear that there's some regulatory body that won't allow you to do the sort of marketing that I'm talking about. This biggest barrier is fear. So let's talk about a couple of things here. I want to ask a couple of questions. The first question I'd like to ask is, in the last 2 months, either privately or professionally for your business, please raise your hand if you have bought a product or service as the result of receiving a direct mail advertisement from the post office. Raise your hand very high in the air. I see a couple of hands. I'm going to call that 1%. You will see my predictions up on the screen. I predicted 4%. It was actually 1%. In the last 2 months, privately or professionally to buy a product, raise your hand if you bought that product because of receiving a cold call from a salesperson. Raise your hand very high in the air so we can see them. I would say that's a 0, which is 2 points below what my prediction was, and my prediction was 2%. The next question is, in the last 2 months, privately or professionally, to buy a product, did you buy that product because you saw an advertisement in a mainstream media publication, magazine, radio, television, or newspaper? Raise your hand very high if you can answer yes to this question. Ooh, I nailed that one, 10%. How cool is that? Okay, last 2 questions are my favorites. In the last 2 months, privately or professionally, to buy a product or service, have you gone to Google or another search engine? Raise your hand very high. Oh my gosh, the cameramen don't have their hands up. So I'll call it 99.5%. In the last couple of months, please raise your hand, and let me get this question out of my mouth. Raise your hand if you bought a product or service, but you did some research using your mobile phone or your computer. You went to Twitter, you went to Skype, you asked your friends through Facebook, you emailed your friends, said, I'm thinking about getting a new card. What do you like about yours? In my case, I'm thinking about hiring a financial planner. Who do you use? Raise your hand if you can say yes to this question. Look around the room. It's 90%. Here's the thing. 2 things are fascinating about this. Number one, it's fascinating that I can predict with pretty good accuracy the answers to the questions. Why is that? Because it doesn't matter where I am in the world. 2 days ago, I presented in Madrid, Spain. It was almost exactly the same. It doesn't matter the audience. It doesn't matter the age of people. What matters is that this is the way that people are buying products and services today. What is also equally fascinating is that the ways that people are actually selling and marketing their services are the top 3. Oh my gosh, practically every week I'm at home looking through my mail and I get a beautiful wedding invitation-like invitation from one of the big firms to have me go to some wonderful restaurant or country club to listen to their financial planning seminar, right? Those things are that sort of marketing up there. Your challenge is, how do you bring the way that people buy together with the ways that you are selling and marketing? Because for most companies, it's completely out of sync.